Hi, everyone. Welcome to Holy Ambitions. I'm Micah, and today I'm going to talk about surrendering your weakness. None of us want to seem weak. None of us want to feel weak. None of us want to admit to ourselves, and especially not to others, that sometimes we are weak. Because being weak is seen as a vulnerability, and vulnerability just means openness or susceptibility to attack or harm. And we don't want to be harmed, and we especially don't want to feel that we're opening up ourselves to attack from others. So we try to hide our weaknesses from the people in our lives, our coworkers, our friends, our family members, and we even try to hide it from God, which you can't really hide it from God because He knows everything that's going on in our life. But we still try to, and we shouldn't have to feel that we need to hide our weakness from God. How many times has a close person in your life come to you and just asked how you're doing? And you say, "I'm good," with a smile on your face. But in reality, you're going through it. Deep down, you're hurting. The world makes us believe that we have to put on a front and be strong at all times, that we have to be happy and smile and be jovial. Social media would have us believe that everyone else's life is amazing and filled with constant joy. But we know that isn't true. And even though we know that isn't true, we still believe some of the lies that we see. We see these amazing trips that people go on. We see the parties that they go to. We see the extravagance that they decide to publish. But we don't know what that person's really going through. We don't know who that person is behind closed doors when they're in their room all alone, late at night, sitting with their own thoughts. And that's not to say that person may not be happy, but I'm saying that we can't believe everything that we see at face value and think that our life is somehow lesser because of it. We all go through struggles in life. It could be physical, such as our health, mental, things like depression and anxiety, spiritual, feeling like we're disconnecting from God, financial, relational, and even sinful temptations. We all go through low moments. Some people call it being down bad. And it is being down bad. You're down, and it's bad. And we have to remember what it says in Isaiah 40:29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. World leaders will go to war with other countries because they don't want to be seen as weak. But we don't go to war with other countries. We go to war with ourselves. The battle is in our mind, it's in our heart, and it's in our soul. When we go to war with ourselves, we turn our weaknesses over to everything but God. Instead of seeking God for comfort, our tendency is to revert back to our former self, our former way of life. And we try to hide our vulnerabilities in the comfort of sin and temptation, in alcohol and drugs, people, sex, gambling, all things that take us further away from God. But these things only provide temporary comfort and escape from our hurt and our pain and our weakness. In these moments, we have to be willing to admit to ourselves that we cannot help ourselves, that we need to surrender our weakness to God. Psalm 34, verse 17 through 20 says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. He protects all his bones. Not one of them will be broken. So, why does God wait for us to cry out before He helps us? Why doesn't He just intervene? And you wouldn't be wrong in asking that. Why does God wait for us to cry out before he helps us? And this is because God never gives us more than we can handle, and he always gives us a way out. If you've ever been to an escape room, the goal is to escape by solving a series of riddles and puzzles, and it's kind of cool. But they always tell you before you start that if at any point you get stuck, that you can just ask them for help, and they'll give you a clue or something that will help further you along so that you can ultimately win the escape room. When we're in a state of weakness, we treat our lives like an escape room. We try to figure out the puzzles and the riddles and all the things that we think are going to help get us out of this place that we're in. And we do it without asking for help. We don't seek outside help. We don't seek the comfort of God, his help. We just feel like if we can chug along and we can just put this thing here and do that thing there, that we can figure this whole thing out, and then I won't have to go through this anymore, and my life will be better, but I got this all figured out, and I can do this by myself. And that's not true. Sometimes we have to ask for help in order to escape our weakness. In Matthew 11, verses 28 through 30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So then you may be asking yourself, if I can just come to Christ to ease my soul, and if God provides a way out, then why doesn't he always take away my troubles? Why does it feel like sometimes I pray and I ask and nothing changes? That I continue to go through the same cycle over and over again, or I'm just stuck in the same season for I don't even know how long, and I see no way out. And again, you wouldn't be wrong to ask that, but we have to look at Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, where he talks about being given a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to buffet him, to torment him, to harass him. And he pleaded with God, he prayed to God 3 times, and each time God said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And Paul goes on to say, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about all my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Sometimes we have to go through trials and afflictions because we are the shining example of God's good works, God's grace. God's power is made perfect in weakness, because when we are lifted back up again, when we are made whole again, our weakness provides the perfect opportunity for the display of divine power. And when we gain our strength through God, and we have gone through the troubles that we've gone through, we are able to recognize when other people are weak, and we are now in a position where we can help them. When we are lifted from the depths of destruction and we get our strength from God, we are then able to help people who are weak themselves. We are able to recognize when other people are going through afflictions, and we have gone through trials that allow us to have compassion and allow us to be there in a way that we wouldn't be able to otherwise if we were still in our weakened state. And I just want to say that it's okay for us to reach out to other people for help. We should reach out to people when we are in our weakened state. But we also have to understand how much that person is equipped to help us, because they themselves may be in a place of weakness where they can only provide so much. And we don't want to ask more of them to where then we become a burden on them. And Same thing goes for us when people come to us for help. We have to know what our limitations are so that we can provide for them the best that we can. But that doesn't mean that they can't be there for us or we can't be there for others. It's just that if we are in that weakened state and we haven't regained our strength back, then we just have to know that there's only so much that other people can provide or that we can provide to others. And when we have regained our strength or we have been given new strength through God, we need to be there for others. It's not a question. We have to be willing to reach out and help the people in our lives that we are capable of helping. And we have to remember in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 4 through 6, where Paul is speaking of God and he says, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we may comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves have received from God. And that's really where this video is coming from, because this isn't the video that I wanted to make. It's not the one that I had planned to make. But, a few weeks ago, I was in a moment of great weakness, and I reverted back to my old self. I reverted back to things that I thought were part of my former life. And I don't know where it came from, because everything was good. Everything was good in my life. There was nothing for me to complain about, nothing for me to be sad about. Work was going well. I had just posted my first video, and I was really proud and happy about that. And I think that I really let my own mind get to me. I started feeling stuck. I started feeling like I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to take my life in, and it just kind of created a lot of anxiety inside of me and caused me to just go back to some of my sinful ways, given to temptations that I thought I was past. And I stopped praying. I wasn't praying to God at the time because I was too ashamed. I was too ashamed to even speak to him, because it's like, what am I doing with myself? Like, he's given me more than I could ask for. He's uplifted me. He's provided so much, and the things in my life have been so good lately that it just really felt that, I was letting him down. And that caused me to spiral even more. And of course I didn't tell anyone about this, but I ended up just isolating myself. And again, I was giving into temptations that I thought I had moved past. And, just even thinking about being who I used to be is a frightening thought, because the person I used to be was a sad person. If you look at my social media, you would think I was having fun. You would think I was having a great life and enjoying things. I was going out partying, hanging out with friends as much as I could, and, just overall just, living a life of debauchery in many ways. But, the way that I would treat myself mentally, think about myself, the thoughts I would have, it was sad. When I wasn't around people, I just isolated myself like I was a few weeks ago. And that's not a life that I really want to live anymore. And I just want to say that if anyone feels that they're going through that, you have to seek God, and he will provide in ways that you don't even know. And what really helped snap me out of it was, after kind of a few days of me just being ghost, I'm very fortunate that I have people in my life that care about me. And while I was just in my room, I got a call from somebody, and I look at my phone and I just let it ring. They leave a voicemail. I listen to it. They send me a text a few minutes later. I read the text and I don't respond to it. A few hours later, someone else texts me. They're asking me, like, is everything okay? Like, am I doing fine? And these are people that I don't text often. Like, I see them often enough, like we talk, but like, we don't really text. So to receive a text from them is kind of like, okay, now I'm starting to worry people. And it really just helped snap me out of it. And I ended up, when I went to church that week, I had an amazing time at church and was talking to so many people, and my pastor, who knows nothing about my situation, is asking me, like, if I have, someone who is also deep in Christ that is in my life that I can talk to about certain things. And, I tell him no. And he's like, you need to find someone like that. Because he was talking more of like on a mentor level. Like, I have people in my life that I can talk to about God and the Bible and Christ and things like that. But, no one kind of on that mentor level. But the way that he was speaking to me, it almost felt like he knew exactly what I was going through without me saying what I was going through. And it was probably because I gave him, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good, but I was still coming out of it. So I wasn't good. I was okay. But that's when I realized, like, okay, I need to snap out of this, and I need to turn back to God, because I am not going to be that person I used to be. But I say all that to say that God will intervene in your life in ways that you may not see. And for me, in this instance, he did it through people in my life that care about me, but also people that I care about. And, my pastor implanted a good seed to where now I am thinking, like, okay, I gotta find, like, someone that I can really talk to sometimes about certain things, so that I don't revert back to who I used to be. Or even if it's just for a short period of time, I don't want to be that person again for a single day. That's how sad it was. So whatever you're going through in life, take it to God. Surrender your weakness to God, because he will strengthen you. And when you're feeling weak and you're feeling like isolating, or you're just feeling lost, depressed, you don't know what to do, how to get out of it, take it to God. Surrender your weakness to God, because his grace is sufficient for you. His power is made perfect in our weakness. It's just as Paul said, for when I am weak, then I am strong. And just remember, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So before I go, I just want to leave you with a couple more verses from James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4, where it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." So with that, I just want to say thank you for watching, thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time.